Super Rainbow Reef, the next game we'll be making. The objective of this game is to move the character at the bottom and catch the starfish before it falls off. Now the object we'll be controlling is called Catch, and the starfish is named Pop. So those are the two main objects. Once Pop is able to eliminate all of the big leg characters on the screen, we can progress to the next level. Now the way Pop bounces depends on the area he hits Catch. Now it doesn't usually take me this long to beat the first level. Oh! So I'm just moving Catch left and right. And then, when all the big legs have been eliminated, we can move on to the next level. We can break blocks along the way to add points to our score. Oh, and some blocks do crazy things like add more pops. Yeah, just ignore what's going on outside of the game. There's one block in particular that is able to take 2 hits. That's because when the block is hit once, it transforms into a regular block. The instance changes. Now you didn't see any of those blocks on here, but they do exist. Now I'm on the last level, and this level is crazy. There's the double block, the purple one. Whoa. Okay. I'm a fantastic video game designer. Look at that, I've almost beaten the game. The game ends, when you run out of lives, or when you defeat all the big legs in the final level. You may have noticed that when I first start a level, Pop isn't moving right away. That's because there's an identical object there that is set to be there for a certain amount of time before the regular Pop object starts moving. So there's a Pop object that doesn't move at first, and that's set to an alarm. Now, an alarm is a feature in Game Maker in which you set a certain amount of time to pass, and when that amount of time is passed, you choose what's going to happen. So I'll show it to you right now. You notice that there's an object called Pop and a Pop Start object. This is the start. When the Pop Start is created, we set an alarm to 30, so it's going to count 30 steps. There are 30 steps in 1 second in Game Maker, unless that's manually changed, but we didn't change it. And we just choose an alarm to set it to, from 0 to 11. Doesn't matter which. However, we're going to refer to that alarm by the same number here. So whatever the alarm is called here has to match up with what you refer to here. So again, when the Pop Start object is created, we're setting alarm 0 to 30. Then we need to say what happens when alarm 0 is up. So when that second is up, when those 30 steps are up, we need to specify what we're actually going to do. So this sets the alarm. This action sets the alarm. And this event and action determines what's going to happen when the alarm goes off. In this case, we're going to change the Pop Start object to the regular Pop object. That's why Pop appears to just hover in place for a second and then moves, because the instance or object is actually changing. So there are all kinds of tricks you can do like that in Game Maker. Just a quick note, if you don't see any of this stuff here, as I did not a second ago, that means you do not have advanced mode enabled. So you're going to have to go up to File and do that. Because I need to talk about parent objects. So you may have noticed a lot of different color blocks here, both here and when I was running the game. When Pop collides with any one of these blocks, it disappears. So if I go to the Pop object, we have a collision event with block 1. We bounce against it, we add 20 to our score, we destroy the block, and we play a sound. Are we going to have to do that for every single block, like a collision event for every single block? Well, as you can see here, the answer is no. Now, we did do one for the double block because that's a little bit different. We have to change that into a regular block when we hit it. But other than that, we only have a collision event with one block, but there are 7 of them here. That's where parent and child objects come into play. So if I go to block 1, we know that the object is solid, and that's it. The collision event is set up in the pop object, so there's no need to do it again here. If I go to block 2, we see that its parent is set to block 1. That means that anything that is true of block 1 will also be true of this object, block 2. And I set every single block as a child of block 1. So, to state that in reverse, block 1 is a parent of every other block. So whatever is true of block 1 is true of all these blocks. Now, what's true of block 1? Whenever pop collides with it, it does these things. Now, we could do a collision event with the same exact actions for blocks 2 through 7, or we could just do them all once for block 1 and then set the other blocks, or set block 1 as a parent of all the other blocks. So, setting an object as a parent of something means that it's going to inherit all of its properties, all of its events and actions, everything. So you don't have to do repeated stuff. You don't have to do things multiple times. Okay? It's not laziness, it's working efficiently. So block 1 is a parent of all the other blocks. So when pop collides with block 1 and any of the other ones, it does the same stuff. All you have to do is set block 1 to its parent. So anyway, as I was playing this game, it was constantly checking, the game, I should say, was constantly checking or testing the instance count of the big legs. When the instance count equals 0, then we can progress to the next room. So right now, the number of big legs equals 1. Oh, now it equals 0. But wait a second, there are small big legs. Is it testing the instance count separately? No, because the small big legs have the regular one set as its parent. So whatever's true about the big ones is true of the small ones. So as far as the game is concerned, the small and big legs are the same in that way. Obviously, we know they're different. But there's no need to test the instance count of them separately because we just set the regular big leg to its parent. So the small ones get included in that test. By the way, here's what I was talking about. Test instance count. We're testing the big legs to see if they're equal to 0. If they are, we're going to do these two things. We're going to have a brief pause. The sleep action just gets the game to pause for a certain amount of time that you specify, and then we're going to go to the next room. And that's it. Oh, and by the way, what's this object here? It's called the controller, and it's an invisible object. If I go to this first room, or this first level, you can see that it was placed right here. Just a blue circle with a question mark on it, indicating that it has no sprite. It's just an object with no sprite, but it does stuff. I place it in the room, and therefore if I press any of these keys, I can do things like go to the next room if I want to, go to the previous room. They're basically cheats. Restart, save the game. What happens if there are no more lives? All this stuff is controlled by the controller. This draw event enables us to draw the number of lives on the screen in the form of catch, so it had them in the lower left corner. So yeah, this controller is an invisible object that handles certain things in the game, such as testing for the number of big legs, determining what's going to happen if there are no lives, and giving us a way that we can test out our game more quickly by pressing certain letters on the keyboard to add more lives or go to the next room or a previous room and things like that. So the game transitions to the next room when all the big legs are gone, when they equal 0. The game ends when we have no more lives left, when Pop is gone 3 times, when he goes away 3 times. So yeah, these aspects are controlled by, fittingly enough, the controller. You notice that the first level is not actually the first room. First I have a menu. I don't know why that's there. It won't go away. There we go. So this menu screen is typically referred to as a front end in game design. A front end is the first room or menu that you see upon loading the game. Gives the game a more professional look and feel to it. So yeah, when we start the game, we have a menu screen or front end that allows us to start the game, load it, ask for help, see our high scores, and of course, quit the game if we load up the game and then just decided that we just don't want to play it. So yeah, we can look forward to implementing all of these great things in the Super Rainbow Reef game. I hope you enjoyed the video. Of course you did. And I look forward to seeing what kind of levels you can make in class.